Starting to get pissed is what I'm starting to get. I hate sports. All right, guys. Well, I think we're starting to feel lucky this week because we have Brian Kelly with us here to speak. So, Coach, start us off on how you got this victory this last couple weeks that were really important.
I mean, I'm just so grateful. You know me, I'm a Southern boy at heart, and when us Southern boys can beat up on these other Southern boys, it shows that we're a strong, resilient team, a good rallier of men around us, and I'm really
So,
proud of this program.
so I have to say you must be competing for a natty right now, right? Your team must be
Absolutely,
undefeated.
we are undefeated. We have beaten Alabama, Georgia. I know we don't play Ohio State. We beat them twice actually,
Wait,
and
this just in: Brian Kelly's been fired from LSU with a $53 million buyout because he has gone 5-3 and been an absolute failure. Coach, any thoughts on that?
what?
Welcome to the starting two. As you can tell, we had a very vibrant introduction. Thanks to a lot of headlines this week that we will cover, some being more personal than others. But I'm Brody Minnick. This is Alex Desai, one of my best friends, and we're going to talk sports, and we're going to talk a lot of different topics today. So we got a lot of things to hit. So keep us going, Alex.
Yeah, so a pretty interesting week in sports. Traditionally, we'll do NFL towards the end of each episode. We're going to start with NFL this week because it was a week of blowouts. Each week, Brody and I spend the first couple minutes of our recording trying to figure out what are we starting to feel, because that's our theme of each episode. We easily could have said starting to feel blown out. Starting to feel,
I'm not sure that would have came off the way we wanted it to, but it's
yeah.
true. We're starting
But
to get
I mean,
blown.
yeah, you get the idea. Obviously, we chose to steer clear of that uh, uh, theme for this episode, but it still stands true in regards to the NFL. So, Brody, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a quick little rundown of this week, and we'll talk about a couple games, even though there's not really many games to talk about. So, we'll start off on Thursday night. Minnesota versus Los Angeles, an absolute bloodbath. Unfortunately, Carson Wentz goes down with a season-ending injury. We're not sure if JJ McCarthy will be back this week or the week after that. Justin Herbert finally plays really well. Ladd McConkey gets in the end zone, and a good win by 20 plus points for the Chargers. Miami versus Atlanta. Who the hell thought this game was going to happen? Tua Tagovailoa hurts his eye pregame. Whether he's sick, I don't know what happened, and all of a sudden, is that Steve Young on the field? That looks like Steve Young. And it had nothing to do. Kirk Cousins playing in for Michael Penix due to injury, and Atlanta does not get the job done and does not seem competitive in this game. New York Jets versus Cincinnati. Are the Jets back? I can't even say that with a straight face. You know who isn't back? The Cincinnati Bengals defense. 39 points to the New York Jets. The New York Jets. I mean, the New York Jets are one of the worst teams I've ever seen grace the grass of a football field. But the Cincinnati defense makes them look Super Bowl ready, if you ask me. Justin Fields plays actually really well. Justin Fields, surprisingly, not having the worst season statistically, doesn't necessarily pass the eye test, but certainly did against the Bengals. Joe Flacco did his best. Jamar Chase, another game with a bunch of catches, a bunch of yards, not enough. A run game was proficient for both sides, and still, the Jets beat Cincinnati. Cleveland, New England. Myles Garrett, 5 sacks. You got to think. I mean, Cleveland had to have destroyed this game. Drake May might not have finished it. Nope. 13-32. New England takes the Browns down. Kayshon Boutte has a really good game. Drake May, albeit throwing an interception, has a really good passing game as well. And the Patriots keep on chugging along. New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles. Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. They did it once. Can they do it again? No. Unfortunately, Cam Scatterbo goes down with injury, and Philly kind of puts their foot down and shows who's the big brother of the division.
Who would have
Jackson Dart,
thought
obviously.
who would have thought that the injury would have been an ankle, not CTE?
And we're going to touch on this later, and this doesn't necessarily have to do with the game, but MetLife needs to lose the turf. We keep seeing too many injuries. We keep seeing too many star players go down, and it's really frustrating for I'm sure the players, the teammates of these players, and then as us as fans, we want to see the best players go out there. Everybody loves Cam Scatabo for a reason because of the way he's a hard nosed, blue collar kind of guy, the way he plays football, and it's really sad to see a guy at the beginning of his career have to sit on the sideline because there's a bunch of external factors that could hinder how his performance would be otherwise. Buffalo, Carolina. Last week, I was really excited as a Panthers fan hey, we're above 500 for the first time since Cam Newton, and we're this. No, Buffalo put us back in our place. We're not ready, and that's all right. That's all right. Bryce Young didn't play, so we get a pass. Chicago, Baltimore. Lamar Jackson again not playing, and no problem. Tyler Huntley, come in there, brother. Snoop Huntley gets the job done. Zay Flowers gets a couple more catches than he would otherwise. Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns, 70 yards on the ground. And Chicago does not get the job done and keep that winning streak alive. San Francisco, Houston. San Francisco could not touch the ball. It wasn't not in the sense that they weren't holding the ball. They just had 0 possession, and that was a hindrance for them and their team. And Houston miraculously gets the job done. Obviously, Brody and I are not keen on Houston and their output and what they've put on tape so far this year, but they get the job done. Houston rolls. Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Spencer Rattler gets benched. Tyler Shuck comes in, 2nd round pick. Now donning the helm for the Saints at quarterback. He's now the official starter. Got announced yesterday.
And it's not going to get any better.
It is not going to get any better. And Tampa Bay gets the job done following a dismal performance on Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. Dallas, Denver. Defense.
Their defense might be worse than the Steelers. Might. Okay. There's. We'll get to the Steelers, but there's 3 teams that really float in the back of your mind when you think about bad defense: the Cowboys, the Bengals, and now it's the Steelers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bad defense going on, but these teams consistently are blowing it just with their defense.
And we saw why Dallas is in that bunch. 44 points, I believe, to the Denver Broncos. Not to say the Denver Broncos aren't prolific on offense; they certainly are. But wow, that was bad. Anyways, Tennessee, Indiana. Why Tennessee is a D2 college football team? I feel like I'm watching Rice University play on a football field. Indianapolis just destroys them. Jonathan Taylor, another 3 touchdowns. Daniel Jones continues to make a case for MVP, as well as Jonathan Taylor, and we're seeing a really, really good team form in Indianapolis. Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Brody will touch on this fully, but Green Bay starts out slow. Pittsburgh pushing nearly a 10-point lead at halftime, and then the second half turns around and Green Bay gets the job done. Jordan Love goes nuclear, throws a bunch of yards, bunch of tutties, and gets the job done. And then Washington and KC, obviously Jaden Daniels out. Game starts slow, really a real low-scoring affair in the first half. Couple turnovers for both sides. Patrick Mahomes throws 2 interceptions on his first couple drives. And then the second half kicks in, and everybody goes balls to the wall for KC, and they win handedly. That's our little NFL rundown. That's our recap. And Brody, usually I come to you with a game. I can't, in good conscience, be like, yeah, that's a good game, because there's no good games. Brody and I are very keen on NFL football, how much we love NFL football, how competitive it is, the parity that's in each league. For instance, I'll just give an example. Carolina beating Atlanta 30-0. Atlanta beating Buffalo. Buffalo beating Carolina by 40. How does that make sense? It's because there's so much parity. There wasn't parity this week. Everybody. I mean, it was just brutal. I suppose we could start on the let's just go straight to the big dog.
Well,
let's go Green Bay, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, let's touch on the games that have an impact, I would say. I mean, the problem with like what you were saying, there's been a lot of weird things happen where it's this team should not be this team, but then the next week they'll lose to one of the worst teams in the league, whatever. So this week was a very clear signal of which teams are actually legit, and also what team's quarterback situation is not working out. So I actually texted Alex during the first 2 quarters, somewhere around there, with the Chiefs in Washington. And I said Marcus Mariota could be a starter somewhere else. Now I said he might not be great, but he could be a starter somewhere else. And then he made a joke about taking the Steelers job. So I mean, honestly, there's been worse performances, obviously, and I do think Marcus Mariota is a great backup. But you see, like, even with a good backup, you see where the faults lie, and you see how much Jaden Daniels means to this Washington offense. You see how much Spencer Rattler really can't get the job done. You know, he's had some performances where it's like, okay, he could maybe, keep with the other team, but it's not a winning culture. And I don't think Tyler Shuck is either. Now, he could be decent, but he really needs time to grow. And after 6 weeks, you do not want to throw, your rookie quarterback into the mix. We've seen Jackson Dart play actually really well. So that's something that is, been seen. But even this week with the Eagles, we see that as much as Jackson Dart has improved, even over the first couple weeks that he's played, it's not enough to just be him, right? The loss of Malik Neighbors, now the loss of Cam Scatabo, these pieces have to be there. And now it's looking like Jackson Dart is going to, I don't want to say waste his rookie campaign, but it is going to be a little bit of a waste now because he's lost some major weapons. The Giants aren't going to be going anywhere. And, they could still make some dreams crushed. But I just don't think that's a team that's going to be going anywhere soon. And then you look at like Caleb Williams, who's played pretty well this year. He's played safe. He's played well. He played terrible against the Ravens, who have been horrendous. I don't know why they ever started Cooper Rush. I would have just stuck with Tyler Huntley, who is in the same system as Lamar Jackson. So that worked out for them. Derrick Henry was back on this week, couple touchdowns. So I don't know. This is just a week full of like weirdness. And telling moments, I'll say. A lot of telling moments. And the most telling moment of all of them, Green Bay versus the Steelers. So going into this game, obviously huge rivalry. Aaron Rodgers facing his former team. He is a no doubt Hall of Famer, so nothing he could ever do would tarnish his legacy. However, this is a meaningful game for him. They tried to talk it down a little bit and say that no, he wants to retire in Green Bay, but you know dang well that all he is thinking about is that Green Bay didn't want him anymore. So he wants to, say, you could have this instead of Jordan Love. And I'm not like super high on Jordan Love either. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's, top 5 for me. But he looked top 5 in this game. He looked unstoppable, specifically in the second half. We had 20 straight completions, which is unheard of. I believe that was a Packers record. That was definitely like a Sunday night record. And the Steelers defense. I mean, Alex, how bad is the Steelers defense?
It's genuinely surprising. To me, I like you think about when you go on social media, who are they talking about? Like you're talking about Myles Garrett had a great game. They're talking about him. Brian Burns gets a lot of love. Rashawn Gary gets a lot of love. Talking about somebody in that game. I haven't seen a T.J. Watt anything. I have not seen Cam Hayward. I've not. I mean, I've personally, obviously, Jalen Ramsey has made a couple plays where you go, okay, he's still pretty good. Weeks 1 and 2 specifically, the big hit on Garrett Wilson in week 1 against the Jets, and then the interception in Seattle.
Yeah, he had 2 sacks in a game against Cleveland.
Otherwise, I look at this defense and name value. I mean, wow, Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Cam Hayward. T.J. Watt, you're looking at probably at least 3 Hall of Famers. I don't know. I think Darius Slay is like a 6-time Pro Bowler. I know the NFL Hall of Fame and getting into Canton is far more difficult than say like the NBA, for example. But Darius Slay has been a very reliable cornerback and a member of the Lions secondary, the Eagles secondary. But it's just. This defense is so highly touted based off name value, but hasn't backed it up with their play, and it's really frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating for you. Obviously, being the highest paid defense in the league, you would expect some major output. I believe the deal was, or not that there was a deal. The expectation was Aaron Rodgers is going to come into this offense here, and he's going to give us 20 points a game. And there will be games where he can give us 30. There will be games when he gives us 24, maybe 28, all this kind of stuff. Our job, we just gotta play we just gotta hold them to under 20. And they really struggled with doing that. And Aaron Rodgers, despite being 41, I mean, he moves like molasses, but he's still got the rocket on him, and he's playing. I would say well. I really would say well.
Yeah. No, he
And
is. He is.
it's kind of the story of his whole career, a defense letting him down. And it's really, I'm sure it's frustrating with you as a Steelers fan, where your team's entire identity, the Mike Tomlin identity, is this hard-nosed, blue-collar defense, get in your face, win in the trenches, ball hawk, hit hard, and all of that has seemed to go out the window. And I can't speak on that because I don't have the unique perspective of being a fan of that team, but I'm sure it is as frustrating as you make it out to be.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like you said, it's the playmakers that are supposed to be making plays on the field, that aren't doing anything. I'd love to sit here and tell you T.J. Watt is better than Myles Garrett, and he has been over his career, and I will flat out say that. However, Myles Garrett is showing up, and there's been weeks against the Steelers with Myles Garrett. One tackle, like zero everything across the stat board. So people are like, where's Myles Garrett? So then he comes out with his revenge game a few weeks later, and he gets 5 sacks. Now, they still lose, but for him, that's a great look. Now, T.J. Watt has been pretty reliable this season, really great in the run game, but not quite there in the pass rush game. That this is the time where you come out and you say, no, this is why I'm the highest paid defender in the league. This is why I'm the best in the world. And he hasn't done that. Cam Hayward missed all of training camp for more money, only to play like he is currently like 37, which he was playing otherworldly out of that age, which is why he thought he deserved more money. Well, I hate to break it to you. You look old and slow. Alex Highsmith is getting his job taken by Nick Herbig. And Nick Herbig, they're playing him, I think they played him 21 snaps in the last game, and he's the Steelers' leading sack leader. Did you know that? 4.5 sacks for a guy on the bench. So moves need to be made. And I'll say it again. Minkah Fitzpatrick. So get a load of this. The Steelers traded a 6th-round pick in exchange for Kyle Duggar in a 7th-round pick. Kyle Duggar has been a very great safety over the last few years, actually from something Reiner College, insanely small school. Bill Belichick scouted him, and he was a 2nd-round pick because of the talents that he saw, and he's been great. He's definitely been dealing with injuries and aging recently. So we traded for a 29-year-old safety. But what I don't understand is we had a multi-all-pro top safety in the league that was 28, and we traded him away for Jonnu Smith essentially, and Jonnu Smith has done zip. I mean, he's got like 2 touchdowns, but he's been a non-factor in this offense, and now we just traded for a safety. So make it make sense, and I've been saying it, you know this the whole season. Minkah Fitzpatrick, it's a huge part of our defense. He's not just a huge part of the defense on the field. He is so much of the locker room present that is not there. Now we're going to have former Steelers player like James Harrison's angry. They're starting to speak up and say, this isn't Steeler football. This is where you get drama, and this is where things snowball towards the end of the season. And this is how I can see the Steelers missing the playoffs, right? The offense is doing their job. I mean, it's not great. The playbook stinks. Everything is east-west. Nothing is north-south. And the things that are north-south, it's a deep ball where Aaron Rodgers is yelling curse words at his players for running the wrong route. So he needs more accountability. Aaron Rodgers has zero accountability for himself. And that bothers me as a fan because I know he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best to ever do it. I don't care. Your players, do you want to be yelled at? Like you did something wrong, Alex? Nobody wants that. There's something called communication. And Ben Roethlisberger was phenomenal at that. And Ben Roethlisberger had to deal with Antonio Brown. So, there's just the communication that is not there. The defense is horrendous. There's been moments where it's like, oh, the Steelers are fine, right? After week 1 and 2, we're like, we're back on board, right? We beat a couple good teams. They beat the Patriots. They freakishly lose to the Seattle team, but even Seattle offense did look awesome against the Steelers. And now it's like 3 weeks in a row where I'm saying, like, what is going on with the Steelers defense? So there's so much to say here, but all I have to say is there are internal struggles that scare me more than just what we see. It's one of those things where you keep living week by week to win a game, but as a Steelers fan, I know that there's more wrong than what is present. There's locker room issues, there's accountability issues, there's coaching issues I think Mike Tomlin should be out of a job next year. I'm not a fan of Mike Tomlin's coaching. I think it's played its way, and I'm a diehard Steelers fan. I've been watching my entire life. I love Mike Tomlin. I think it's time for a culture change. He refuses to make any changes, and they came out in an interview and he said there will be no defensive changes. That's not what anybody wants to hear. And I know we are so far out of the coaching scheme. We have no idea the big picture. But what I do know, Alex, is that the Steelers' defense sucks, and there's no sugarcoating it. And like you said, this is just out of the ordinary. And it's sad because when we finally have an offense that's putting up, 25, 30 points a game, you should win ball games like that, especially known as a defensive team. So that's all I have to say. It's frustrating, and the Packers looked like the better team in the second half, so.
It's funny you talk about culture change. You're asking for the staff to be readjusted, to maybe lose a coordinator, lose a certain coach on each side of the ball. Remember how long it took the Steelers to get rid of Matt Canada? So
yeah,
that is certainly probably a culture thing in the Steelers locker room. They don't like firing anybody mid-season, but
well, and I mean, this, I don't think this is confirmed, but it's very highly thought of in the Steelers community, is Matt Canada was hung on so long. They kept him because he helped Mike Tomlin's son get a scholarship to college. So they were very good friends. So it's kind of like internal, that's not right kind of things. And obviously, as we know, Matt Canada had a job for no reason. So, maybe it's time to start chanting, fire somebody in the stadium because it worked with Matt Canada. So
conflict of interest, huh?
Yeah. Hey, one quick thing. Hold on. Franco is upset. Franco, Steelers, I want you to apologize to Franco. Alex, look at him.
Franco, I need you to turn back the clock and get on the field, brother.
Can you do that for us? You got another immaculate reception in there for us? It sucks, doesn't it? Guys, everybody look at Franco and say, I'm sorry, the Steelers suck. Thank you. Okay? All right, buddy. I'm sorry. I know. He's sleeping it off. He's getting some Z's out of it, so.
And while we are still on the NFL today, we do have breaking news that just happened 20 minutes ago. Again, this is being recorded Wednesday, October 29th. Aiden Hutchinson signs a 4-year, $180 million extension with $141 million guaranteed.
Wow!
That is 45 annually. And 30, oh God, Lee, that's a big number. 35 and a quarter guaranteed a year.
Wow. Is that more than TJ Watt?
Yeah.
Ow!
I think that makes him the highest paid.
Yeah, that's more than Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, TJ Watt.
Myles is 40, right?
Yeah, and TJ's was just above that. It was like 41.
Yeah, so obviously congrats to Aiden Hutchinson. Money well earned. Hopefully money well spent. Obviously coming off a pretty rough injury at the end of the last year. Lions weren't able to get past the Commanders in the NFC divisional round, and tough look for that defense and how they tried to rally without him. But I think this is a great contract for the Lions and Aiden Hutchinson, a mutually beneficial one. $180 million is a lot of money, but I think he deserves it. 6 sacks so far in the season, and more importantly, 4 forced fumbles. He's not only going for sacks, but when he's able to get towards the quarterback, pressure the quarterback, he's going for strips. He's going to knock the ball out. So he's played out of his mind so far this year, and he's likely to finish well into the low to mid double-digit sacks. And maybe at the rate he's going, he might get the same with some forced fumbles as well. So great win for them in terms of getting their guy. And yeah, I mean, what a re-signing for them in the middle of the season, no less, which we never see. Both of these parties obviously wanted this deal done before the season started. They said we will not be having contract negotiations during the season. Well, that was a lie. So. But
well, Alex, this is what happens when me and you wouldn't know this because our teams don't, do their job. But this is what happens when your team is doing their job during the season. You don't have a lot to worry about. Tough games here and there, but they have the luxury of playing a player that is playing worth his worth. You and I don't. That doesn't happen. And it's always fighting before the off season, fighting after the season. So let's move on, Alex. Good talks, though. So
yeah, So again, NFL kind of a beat down week. Didn't have much to talk about. I know Brody wanted to talk about the Steelers because of his personal ties. Speaking of personal ties, we'll move to college football now. We'll take a step back. A&M and LSU, and you saw our intro. Brian Kelly is no longer the head coach of the LSU Tigers, and why, you may ask. I'm sure you have heard, if you were listening, Tigers lose to A&M and now have lost 3 out of the last 5.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
A&M gets the job done against LSU. Garrett Nussmeier doesn't play fantastic, doesn't play poorly, but not the performance you're looking to have after actually a really strong week offensively for LSU and the boys on offense. A&M, Brody was texting me about halfway through the third quarter saying, it's over, it's done, and it was still a 1-possession game. Maybe it was like 10 points, something like that. It was after the punt return, I believe. And I said, Brody, there's time. I'm not a huge believer in A&M, despite them being the SEC powerhouse that they are, and maybe I'll eat my words here. But I had faith that LSU would come back, and surely the LSU Tigers would make it a close game. And unfortunately, right when I sent that text, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And Brody usually somebody who hey, I'm right there. I'm texting Alex. Hey, I got Alex. What's this? Hey. This sucks. I hate my team. This sucks. This is the worst day of my life. But Brody went silent, and I worried for a minute, and I said, man, this must be a really tough time for him right now. And I in my heart of hearts, I said, where in the world could Brody Minnick be? And then the news about Brian Kelly got out. And Brody went and texted me. He goes, four separate texts all saying the same thing. Wow! And I'm in class.
Don't forget our boom in there.
Boom! And I don't know what I was doing. I was either at class or in work. Switch the two words. In class or at work. There we go. And so I'm like, what is it? And I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even fathom what it could possibly. And I go on Twitter. I'm like, all right, let's go look. And Pete Thamel. And shout out to the Pat McAfee show and Ty Schmidt for absolutely amazing Pete Thamel impersonations. Brian Kelly's been fired. His buyout is $53 million. The former Notre Dame coach and now former LSU coach is out of a job. And Brody returned from wherever he could have been. And,
yeah, so there's 3 things that Alex was probably thinking whenever I say, wow, boom, wow. Those were the text. And Alex says, what? And so while you're checking those, I imagine you checking your phone and something's going through your head. You're like, what could have happened? There's only a handful of things that could have done this. Maybe Mike Tomlin got fired mid-season. Who knows? Maybe Brian Kelly got fired mid-season. Maybe Myles Garrett got banned from the NFL and is no longer allowed to play football. But it was one of the 3, and it was Brian Kelly. So Alex is always there for me in those tough times. I turn to Sarah, and Sarah understands, but she's been there. She understands. She's numb to the pain now. And Sarah, being a Steelers fan as well, she understands. She gets it. Having that outside influence where I can truly just say, you don't understand how bad this is. Yeah, it sucks, right? So I might as well read them. Game's over. We're cooked. Brian Kelly era gone. We'll lose all the recruits. Brody, you've got 25 minutes left. Lock in, believe. Season is cooked. End of conversation for a day. Yeah, we were cooked. LSU, okay, it's the same thing as the Steelers. They were both winning going into halftime, right? You're like, oh, we look great. What could happen? Then they end up in blowout fashion. Neither of these games is as close as the final score, looks. Even though 49-25 doesn't look close at all, it was not even that close because the second half was a blowout. Marcel Reed put on a masterclass. Specifically after halftime, he looked great in the first half, but it was enough we were able to contain him. And now I'm like, wow, Marcel Reed is like the real deal, right? And let's not forget Marcel Reed made his college football debut against LSU last year in the same way. Okay, Connor Wigman, who is now transferred, he comes in at halftime Marcel Reed comes in at halftime. We make 0 adjustments and lose the game after leading at halftime. It's carbon copy this time, except Marcel Reed was in the entire game. I don't know. The defense, the defense sucked, but I also can't even put all the blame on the defense whenever they're out there so much. They didn't do their job. However, when it's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, what do you want your defense to do? Have you guys ever, I'm just curious, have you guys ever actually played a game of backyard football where you're running back and forth? 3 plays at me, 3 long balls, I'm like panting.
I'm
dude.
tired. Oh gosh.
Yeah, and you wake up the next day and everything hurts. Props to the football players, right? This is what the conditioning is for. I can't imagine being LSU's defense whenever there's 49 points put up, or for anybody's defense whenever there's over 50. That means there are that many chances to score 50 points on the field. So once again, Nussmeier can't do a whole lot when he's on his back. He hasn't been great this season at all, but man, the offensive line is terrible. And Garrett Nussmeier's to the point where he needs to relax on the bench. He needs to sit out. I don't know what needs to happen, but he's risking his health at this point, because every time he gets knocked down, he's wincing in pain at either his ribs, his head, or something that hits the ground hard. Funny thing is, game's over. Trash time touchdown. They put in Michael Van Buren, who's a proven SEC starter at Mississippi State, who's transferred in from LSU to LSU. And, first pass, dart up the middle, something we rarely see from Nussmeier, using the middle of the field. And then he uses his legs, and they score a touchdown. So, look, I know it's garbage time. There's not a lot you can judge, but isn't it worth it to try and see? If you're Brian Kelly, Alex, aren't you trying something out, right? Connor Wigman last year benched. Marcel Reed came in. That was the spark they needed. Isn't it worth trying something out? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And in the game that they're in, this is kind of not to say that it's their championship, but winning that game for them is imperative.
Yeah.
A 2-loss versus a 3-loss team that's where, hey, that's your playoff right there. You can get into the playoff with 2 losses, and the caliber of losses, candidly, LSU has beaten the teams that they're supposed to beat, and then these competitive games against other ranked teams they have not. But you can get a pass for your 2 losses if they're against good competitive ranked teams. Obviously, Vandy, we see what they're doing. They're a stout team, and Georgia.
No, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, excuse me. Thank you so much.
Ole Miss barely lost to Georgia.
Correct.
So
I think about that. That's the game now. You know that you're at 2 losses. You know you're going in. Was this at home?
This was at home. And Brian Kelly, in his era, 20-1 in night games at Death Valley during his career. So an amazing record.
And you've got to think. So you're not at College Station, okay? You're in the Valley. You're you got to win it. You got to play with that nail under your foot. I'm looking for an analogy here. But it's really frustrating. You saw how Saban understood the stakes of the game. This is realistically in some capacity, whether people agree, you agree, this is Brian Kelly's national championship. You can't make it to the playoff unless you win this game. You can't get to the dance unless you go break it down with Mrs. Ugly in the corner. Okay, so sometimes you're gonna have to look yourself in the mirror and go, okay, we gotta go for it here. We gotta go. So you look at what Saban did again. Sorry, I think I might have brought this up, where they brought Tua in for the second half after Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had been inconsistent, but fairly confident at his role as quarterback for Alabama the year they won the championship. I believe 18.
Yeah, 2018.
That feels, yeah. But they still, hey, we need a spark. I know that year doesn't feel right. We need a spark really badly. We're gonna put into a Tua obviously leads a historic comeback, maybe one of the greatest college football games of all time. Where's that urgency? And I think ultimately you think, Brian Kelly, you're supposed to be the guy that recruits, but also coaches pretty well. James Franklin, we had this conversation earlier, really, really good recruiter, but there were some that questioned his coaching prowess when it came to on-field scheming, that kind of stuff. From everything we've heard, from what we've seen at Notre Dame, because we've seen him do it at another school, Brian Kelly's not a bad coach, actually, when it comes to the play that his players are putting on the field, putting on tape. But I'm baffled at the lack of adjustment. Each loss feels like a carbon copy of the one before.
Yeah.
Obviously, you just I'm really at a loss for words. I'd like to say, hey, this team and this coach has something of note that's worth saving or worth caring about, but it's been a lackluster performance, and I can't find a saving grace in any of this.
Yeah, you're completely right about all of that, and you're completely right about how these losses look the same. Now, this one has the biggest impact of all of them, and the biggest beatdown. But once again, winning before halftime. Ole Miss versus LSU, close at halftime. Ole Miss ended up winning that game by only 5. Vanderbilt LSU, close at halftime. Vanderbilt only won that game by 3, within a touchdown. So it's all of the things where it's like, where was the adjustment to stop Diego Pavia? The only reason LSU lost is Diego Pavia. You put anybody else at quarterback back there, that Vanderbilt offense isn't winning. Are you kidding me? But Diego Pavia has the experience and he knows what he's doing. No adjustment. Absolutely zero adjustment towards Chambliss, who's been a great quarterback all year, using his legs. Zero adjustment. Zero adjustments to stop Marcel Reed. So, and I really like Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator for LSU. I hope they keep him because he's done a lot within 2 years. However, the adjustment is not made to stop a running quarterback, but also Brian Kelly has to make those shots too. Brian Kelly has to be the one, instead of yelling at your coordinators on the sideline, which he does all the time, why don't you talk with your players? Why don't you talk with your coordinators? Blurring out, and throwing out cuss words and obscenities at the refs, at anybody who's watching, every TV camera. It's classless, number one. It's not a good look for a coach. Whenever you saw Coach O, it really looked like Coach O and the players, connected. And, he lost his coaching job because it just wasn't working. Championship season, lost a lot. But he still loved the state of Louisiana, the players. That's the problem. Whenever you bring in Brian Kelly, who has no idea of the culture of Louisiana, no idea how hard these players work just to go to LSU, you lose all of that. So it's just like, it's tough and it stinks, but it's what needed to happen. There's been players, Malik Neighbors posted a video of somebody kicking rocks on his story 2 days ago whenever the news broke about Brian Kelly. Now, people speculated it was about Brian Kelly. Go kick rocks, Brian Kelly. That's what it looks like. Whenever you have a Pro Bowl level receiver in the NFL now from LSU who was coached under Brian Kelly saying kick rocks, is that a good look?
Yeah, so part of this too is, I think, bouncing completely right from what you're saying. How many players have you seen stand up for Brian Kelly?
Not a lot.
I in my heart of hearts, I couldn't tell you any.
I have one, and there's a recruit, Lamar Brown, who's supposed to be coming to LSU next year. Hopefully he keeps it.
Is it Jack Marius, Dak Theratrix?
Yeah, it is.
Is it Dan Smith, BYU?
Dan Smith, BYU. So all he said was, "Thank you for believing in me, coach." It's kind of, but there was
that's such a tapped out answer. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. I probably sucked, but thanks.
Or thanks for giving me the opportunity. Yep. So I'll see you next week. Anyways, I'm going to go transfer over to Georgia. There was a player that had to medically retire from LSU. Medically, he was not allowed. He was told to retire. And he said Brian Kelly never cared about him, never looked at him in the hallway, never said anything, forced him to basically retire, even though he wanted a second and third option. And there's he basically killed a kid at his days in Notre Dame. You can read up on that, but consequences led to that. Lack of being an adult and lack of mentorship led to that. Many players having previous beef with Brian Kelly. The whole Notre Dame fan base hating him. So there's just a lot of signs, and as an LSU fan, I've been forced to support Brian Kelly, right? Which is why I really hope we don't get James Franklin, because that will look insanely bad, but it will look great for a little TikTok, won't it? So where we can paste me hating on James Franklin to me going, "Welcome, James Franklin. We're so happy to have you here." So, overall, miserable performance. I don't know. LSU, they're still going to have, it's still a team. Everybody is still playing, I think. So maybe they'll pull the UCLA and get some games won, but this was their game to win. And guess what? Number 3 in the country, you win that game, you're back up in your top 10 contention. So I don't know. It's a terrible loss, and It's LSU though. They will rebound. They're one of the greatest programs in the history of college football. They will rebound, but it's gonna take a lot. So
Yeah, and so given our uh, the duration of the conversation of this college game, I'm just going to touch on these following two. Brody mentioned Diego Pavia and LSU not being able to stop him, not scheming, not making the adjustment. They played Mizzou college game day, went to Vanderbilt. Nate Bargatze as our celebrity host. Vandy gets the job done. Diego Pavia, that dog. He's a dog. He's just a dog. I love the way Diego Pavia just rips the pigskin.
yeah,
And it's just Mizzou, obviously also a good player, a good school as well. Good quarterback Sean Padula.
Perbula, yeah, he went down
Pegula,
though, and that's a huge loss for them.
Yeah. But otherwise, Vandy gets the job done. They are slowly but surely climbing up the meaningless rankings.
Number
but
9,
still-
number 9.
Yeah. And then we touched on Ole Miss. Obviously, these are two teams that LSU lost to. Ole Miss played OU. I can't understate this enough. I understand that OU and Texas are a part of the SEC. They're not, okay? They're just not. I don't know how long it's gonna take me as a fan to be like, okay, that's SEC football. Texas and OU, SEC. No, I just can't. And whenever these formerly Big 12 schools come to an SEC school, it's like I can't rationalize in my head picking these OU or Texas. I just can't.
Yeah.
So like when Texas goes to Vandy this week, okay, and we all Arch is back, baby. Arch is back. He played really well this past week. He's so good. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Vandy blows him out. Really, truly. I think Alabama, I think Ole Miss, I think Texas A&M, I think LSU, I think Vandy, I think Georgia, I think Missouri would all beat Texas.
See, in Missouri, it's funny. My mind is still working on Missouri being an SEC team. So, and Missouri has earned their keep thus far, but they are not an original SEC team. They came in late 2000s, early 2000s. It's a newer SEC team. So it's funny how Texas and Oklahoma they demand this, we are an SEC team. No, you're not. Okay, you beat up on the Big 12 for years. After both teams had years of this is our year, and it's never their year. And some elite football in the 2000s. You can't just march into the best conference in football. Argue with the wall, the best conference in football, and say oh no, we're top dogs in here, when both of you aren't even top dogs. Now, it's one thing if Texas is truly they're doing great, right? They had a chance to do something great this year, started out with ranking number 1. Where the heck did that go? John Mateer for Heisman, I know he was injured, but where the heck did that go? It's hard to compete in an SEC conference whenever you're not playing up to par. You have to play up to Big 12 standards before you can play up to SEC standards. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and I just don't think you can't consider yourself these upper echelon teams. Oklahoma and Texas, I believe, at one point or another were both in the top 5. Correct? We both know Texas was 1. I don't know if Oklahoma got that high. Oklahoma was certainly top 10. Okay.
They reached 6 or 7, I think. Dude, I did not mean to do that. I swear on God, I hate everything. Oh, no, I can't believe I just did that. 21.
Put them in the cage. Put them in the cage. Put them in the corner.
21 had some, juice to it, 21. And at least it was, a joke. I don't understand. We're both just unks, I guess. Are people saying this at college right now? I'm off campus. You're on campus. Are they laughing at it, or is this
Okay.
No one says this?
Real quick, Brody. Do you want to know why 21 was so funny?
Tell me why it was so funny.
13.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is what all these little minions that walk around the schools in our public school system. This is so funny. This is so funny. Yeah, I'm sure the adults,
6'7".
I think the millennials, when we're Gen Z people, by the way. I think the millennials, when we were being what's that?
Yeah. 21.
We're look at this dumbass. I mean, this is unbelievable. I can't watch this.
Yeah.
So yeah. You you will be spending a month in the gulag. The temperature will be 110, and you will need to beg and plead every day for a shekel of food.
You know what's funny? I don't need to do that because I do that every day living as a Steelers and LSU fan right now. So we're good. We're clear. You know what? Add the Orioles on top of that. We're clear, man. I got my punishment.
Yeah, but so obviously all of this to say, the last 5 minutes, not just the pop culture banter that we just shared with you.
6-7. Sorry, that's the last one.
Ole Miss did beat Oklahoma. That's all that is. All right. We are taking some time. We might not talk about NBA today because, I mean, who wants
It
to
just
talk
started.
about the free...
Yeah, it just started. It
There's
just
a
here. Well, before because baseball is going to be a huge talk as we're nearing the cusp of the end of the World Series. My NBA teams that I have on my radar right now, as far as NBA, I mean the Thunder look great. The Thunder look like they started on the pace from last year from winning a championship. It looks like nothing is slowing them down. I think SGA has just figured it out. You know, when you just I understand it now, like that whole thing. He's been understanding it, but now he has the team around him. You've got Chet over there. They understand, right? They just know how to play basketball. They know how current NBA works. And on top of that, Wembanyama. He's been insane. He put up one of the most insane freaking dunks we've ever seen. Otherworldly. I think for the Spurs, you know, we've been asking, like, maybe this is the Spurs' chance, right? They have Wembanyama, disappointing last year. Can they put the pieces together and put their superstar to the front? I think they can, right? It just all depends on the longevity of the season, injuries, whatever, keeping everybody healthy. But those are my two, obviously both in the Western Conference, but both teams that I'm looking out for.
Yeah. The teams I'm looking out for are the Wichita Go Wows, and I'm really big into the San Joaquin Chickpeas. And
what about the Termites? Termites might have a good year this year.
Yeah. My dark horse is the oh man,
the Tucson Termites, man.
I'm my dark horse. They're an overseas team. I'm really feeling the Afghanistan Black Bears.
Yeah.
These are some really good contenders for the NBA. I don't know if they'll win the championship, but that midseason cup, the Wichita Chickawows. I'm telling you,
there's absolutely no way you put Afghanistan and Black Bears in the same sentence. That was awesome.
What's wrong with that? What did I say?
Have you ever seen a black bear in Afghanistan? I mean,
the Afghanistan Golden Bears, Afghanistan Polar Bears. What do you want me to say? What the fuck? Chickawow. Obviously, it's satire. All right. So as we move forward, we have to move on to MLB, which I'm thinking about home runs. And speaking of home runs.
Wow, that was the longest delay. That must have been a 30-mile-an-hour pitch. You know what? Make it 25.
Yeah. So, obviously, Brody and I, big baseball boys. And, man, this
hey, better, swing better. Alex is about to leave me, man. I've said 6-7 today. I've said a lot of things that he's regretting being my friend. So, you know what? I got Franco over here, so I'm good. You know?
Yeah, well, Franco's about to suit up for the Steelers. And
yeah, he is.
What's that offensive line going to do for Franco? Franco's going to be on the IR in about 4 seconds, okay? Back to what I was saying about Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers versus Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and these Toronto Blue Jays. What a series. As of today, we just finished Game 4 last night. 2-2 series. Counts even. It's been an absolute amazing series. We are going to predominantly talk about Game 3 and the theatrics of this. Brody, did you watch Game 3?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, not all 18 innings, but I was thankful to watch most of it until I said, wow, this is just not worth it for two teams I don't like. But that being said, good baseball. Great baseball. We saw Clayton Kershaw come in, which was not in the plans. Absolutely wild game. You guys should honestly, we are not going to do this game justice. You need to go look at, there's been list of things accomplishments throughout this night. Unbelievable records for the postseason. Unbelievable numbers, whether it was pitch count, whether it was pitchers used, players used, innings went. hours spent. Insane. I wake up to this and I'm like, holy moly. I think I called it quicks at about the 12th inning because once again, I'm a diehard baseball fan. It's hard to stay up till 4 a.m. whenever it's not my team. However, great baseball. Alex, continue.
Yeah, so I hopefully you can fill in here. I should be fine, but
You'll be good.
I didn't start watching until the 8th.
Mm.
My roommate had come home and him and I were hanging out a little bit because he was at work and he's been working a lot this week. So spent some time with him and I thought, hey, I'm gonna catch the end of the game. But I've been keeping up with the game on Twitter. Twitter fingers, me and Jeff Pass, and I'm always reading what he's got to say. Ken Rosenthal, John Heyman, JP Morosi, always listening. And I'm seeing these plays. I'm like, golly, Shohei Ohtani's playing phenomenal. Vladimir Guerrero with a across the diamond throw. I mean, an absolute seed to Ernie Clement to throw out the runner at third. Plays all over the field. And so I come to watch the game, and I decided to watch 18 innings. I wanted some extra baseball, and I don't know if we've prefaced this. Actually, we should. We go to West Virginia University, or I do. Brody graduated. We are East Coast guys. So this ain't no. I'm so tired of Dodgers fans and people in that stadium. I'm so tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Why are you tired? Okay. What? I mean, what? You guys have 10 o'clock games for us, 7 o'clock for you. If a game goes into extra, that's normal for them. I mean, I don't know. Why are we complaining if the game's at 11 o'clock for you guys? Oh, you're at the stadium at 11 o'clock. You're watching maybe the greatest baseball game of all time. I'd be the biggest adrenaline junkie.
Hey, I got news. How about you don't watch it if you don't want to,
Exactly. Why don't you go hit Sunset Boulevard on your way down Vicenta, and you just go back to your little your 8-bedroom, 8-bath manor in Malibu. I mean, nobody's asking you to stay.
I think the more realistic expectation would be 2-bed, 1-bath, $3 million home down Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah. So I think the biggest round of applause goes to the bullpens. It's one of the best pitched games by both sides I've ever seen. I obviously did miss the beginning of the game. I did not see Tyler Glasnow throw. I did not see Max Scherzer throw. Obviously, Max Scherzer is my favorite baseball player of all time, by the way. As a former National, I was very interested to see how he would do. He played pretty well against Seattle in the CS. Dodgers got to him, but Blue Jays got to Glasnow. It wasn't like either of them pitched particularly terribly. Neither of them. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna just read their stats off. They're nearly identical.
Mm-hmm.
So Glasnow, 4 and 2 outs, 4 innings, 4.2, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. All right, then we go over to Scherzer. Then we're looking, okay, maybe Scherzer comes out with his his fire, which he wasn't bad, but 4 innings and an out. 5 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. So they're like, this is Scherzer, age, what is he, 30-something now? 41. So he's 41, but he's still doing his job, right? He did a job. It's a little bit more than what you want out of a starting pitcher. You want longevity, and for both of these guys, especially Glasnow, to only make it, not even the full 5 innings. Not what you want out of longevity, because this just means you have to go to the bullpen, right? And we talked about it before the series. This is a Dodgers team that, like, every pitcher on their roster could easily go 7 innings, at least 5 strikeouts. That hasn't been the case. The only consistent pitcher who threw a gem was Yamamoto. And we're talking a complete game, 10 plus Ks, ridiculous, 1 earned run. So this is a lineup, and we'll get to game 4, but I guess we'll just touch on it. Game 4, Ohtani pitched last night. Blue Jays even it up. And so Ohtani, after having an otherworldly game in this 18-inning stretch, which, by the way, was 2 doubles, 2 home runs, it got so bad that they had to walk him 5 times. Intentional walk 5 times, and people were getting mad about it. And 4, and then he walked 5 times. So I wouldn't throw to him. Everybody's getting mad. They're like, play the game. I'm playing the game, man. I'm not throwing. I want to win the game. I'm not throwing to Ohtani. Then you come out, and this is where I worry a little bit about the usage of Otani sometimes. I feel like sometimes it's a little forced. Why don't you just take what you can get? You already got master classes thus far in the postseason. I'm not sure pitching Otani is the right move. After an 18 inning, game, it's a long game. He comes out, he doesn't have his greatest outing in the game 4. And, I think part of that is, these guys need rest. These guys, he is otherworldly, but Alex knows it's important to have rest. I don't know how you do this. I don't know how he's doing it. It's kind of like Travis Hunter. I don't know how he does cornerback and wide receiver. There's a lot of running. It kind of hurt him in this last game, and Blue Jays evened it up. But back to the 18-inning game, ridiculous. Alex, touch on some of what happened in the bullpen.
Yeah, so Will Klein is going to be, to me, the hero of this game. Will Klein, young righty pitcher, can dial it up to 100, wicked slider, has an incredible vertical break on that fastball. I'm not quite sure if he throws a sinker combo, but it based on the way it's moving, it's this vicious two-seamer, vicious sinker. I can't quite pinpoint exactly what it is. He's one of these guys that goes in one inning, 15, 20 pitches, okay? Will Klein pitched 70 pitches, okay?
He'd never gone over 50, I believe.
Yeah. Dave Roberts, manager for the Dodgers, had announced that if Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who offered up himself to go pitch, if he wasn't ready, if he wasn't feeling good to come in the 19th, assuming that the game was still tied, Miguel Rojas, a position player, shortstop, second baseman, was going to be the next pitcher. Will Klein carried the Dodgers for 4 innings to just get them to that point. So, massive unsung hero. Deserves all the flowers in the world. I don't know if he'll pitch again in this series. In my heart of hearts, if the Dodgers win this series, I truly think he deserves some consideration for World Series MVP. And I know that's not the sexy thing to do. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, if he pitches a gem and the Dodgers win again, will likely win it. Maybe Shohei if he goes nuclear the rest of these games because he's got a couple ding-dong slaps. But Will Klein is pitched phenomenal, did his job to a T. Emmett Sheehan did really well. Pitched 2 2/3. Clayton Kershaw, albeit the most nerve-wracking out I think I've had in quite a while, got the job done against Nathan Lucas. Forces the roll over to Tommy Edman, and it's a race. It's a sprint to the bag. Gets the job done. Blue Jays strand, the bases loaded. Every single pitcher that came in was nails. Then you go to the Blue Jays side. Eric Lauer gave up some hard contact. Eric Lauer has been, formerly a starter, has been shortened to a bullpen guy about halfway through the year. So he hasn't really extended himself past 50 pitches himself that often, really. He almost went 70 pitches himself, 3 2/3, over 4 innings.
Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah, of scoreless baseball for himself. Massive props to him. It's just I can't commend these pitchers enough. Obviously, it's funny. As a hitter, there's so much less pressure to me because the pitcher's got to come to you, and as soon as a base hit happens and you bunt and you move a guy over. I mean, there's several instances where there's a guy in scoring position for both of the teams with less than 2 outs and can't get the job done, and the pitcher's got to feel all of that. The batter's like, hey, I don't even need to get a hit here. And I'm sure the batters are nervous. I think that explains how you go 9 innings scoreless for both offenses in these extra innings. But it's these pitchers are pitching purely on adrenaline. No more energy left in the tank. And they're the ones that have to force the at bat, the interaction. So it's genuinely it's a testament to how seasoned these players are, how well ready they were for this moment. I think it's eerily similar, and we've heard so many people talk about this on the Fox broadcast and Toronto's broadcast of Nathan Eovaldi in the 2018 World Series with the Boston Red Sox in that 18-inning thriller, and they mentioned that a handful of times in the broadcast. Nathan Eovaldi went and threw 6 innings. Gave up the walk-off home run to Max Muncy, but in doing that, in throwing those 6 innings, gave the Red Sox bullpen the rest, which you could turn around and go, well, I mean, look how that worked. Nathan Eovaldi is the unsung hero. Steve Pearce won the World Series MVP, rightfully so. He had a phenomenal series for the Red Sox, and the rest of that team is loaded. Nathan Eovaldi is the reason why the Boston Red Sox pitchers played as well as they did the rest of that series and threw as well as they did. And I think this Game 3 matchup with all the wild plays, the home runs, the outs at home, the people getting thrown out on the bases, the star power. I look at the fact that the bullpen is the reason that the bullpens were the reason that this game was electric as it was. As a fan
Alex,
of baseball, yes.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I know what you're
going
going to say. Yeah. I still disagree. That doesn't mean a thing to me.
Cool. Anyways, just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, so what Brody's insinuating here for those who haven't been keeping up with the episodes, which I don't blame you.
Fun.
This is a really... Brody thinks that the bullpen's more important in playoff baseball, and I think that the starters are more important.
Whoa. I think bullpen just in general. I never said playoff. You said playoff starting. I just think the bullpen is more important overall. I think they're hand in hand, but Alex just is having a hard time admitting that. I think bullpen's giving you a run for your money.
Hey, real quick. How did the Brewers do against the Dodgers?
Okay, you know what? Look, there's
no. I'm not looking for no excuse.
There's bad spurts for everybody. Did the starters do their job for the Brewers?
They didn't pitch horribly. Did they pitch great? No, but
okay. Here it should have been okay. Both did not live up to par. It should have been better on both ends. I'll give you that. And I do agree, starting pitching is more important in the playoffs, which is why we have a rematch.
I don't care about the regular season. Doesn't matter. I'm talking this entire argument for those who are not familiar with this stupid conversation that we're having right now. I am referring strictly to playoff baseball. I don't care about the difference between a starter and a bullpen usage in the regular season. Who gives a We're talking about teams like the Chicago White Sox, whose stats are being thrown into the starter bullpen argument that we're having, and the Colorado Rockies. Why do those stats and their performances? That's why playoff baseball is.
Let's not forget. Absolutely rage baiting Alex right now. Let's not forget the Colorado Rockies' top two pitchers finishing with like 20 losses. Remember when we did that from our game? If you guys haven't seen that, we did a game last week where we find out ending stats. Anyways, while Alex gets calmer from the rage, let's talk about. So we're 2-2. Let's talk about our pitching matchup coming on, because by the time we have our next episode, there will be a World Series winner. It's looking like we have Blake Snell again. So is Blake Snell going to come out and do his job? Because it was not done in his debut of the World Series.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
I think this goes... I'd like for it to go 7. I would love for it to go 7. However, I just...
How big is... There's no George Springer, by the way.
George Springer might come back in the series, though.
Well, they need it because he's a spark.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Blake Snell will pitch really well. I'm really interested, because Game 6 is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and he has been an animal.
Yep.
This postseason, 2 complete games already, living up to that contract. There's a lot of people saying, "Hey, why are you giving $325 million to a guy who's never thrown in the big leagues?" That's why, because he's Greg Maddux. Or Roger Clemens reincarnated. That's what he is.
Reason number 1,000,000. I hate the Dodgers.
So I'd like to think that I can't. It's so hard to go against Yamamoto, but this has been the story. I mean, I thought Shohei Ohtani was gonna shove last night. Granted, I worried that his legs weren't under him, but it's not like he pitched bad. He hung that front door slider, the sweeper to Vladdy. Vladdy. Good Lord. There's nothing like watching a breaking ball get smashed for a pull side home run. But I worry.
Shane Bieber did his job.
Shane Bieber, former Cy Young in the 2020 season. God. Brody, you know what you should be for Halloween?
What?
Shane Bieber. That mustache.
I should be Shane Bieber with my mustache. Does that mean I have to get Tommy John? Oh, that would be unfortunate.
Fun fact, guys, if I ever want to play baseball again on any recreational level, I would likely have to get the old TJ.
You should have listened to Heidi Watney, man.
I'm sorry, I was dealing, bro. I can't help it. Did you see?
Yeah, so Goblin Alex over there. So to finish off this conversation, it's been a great baseball season. Obviously, Alex and I wish it had turned out a little different for our teams, but hey, we're going to be back next year, aren't we? I'll keep telling myself that. By the way, Orioles hire new manager. Alex, name please. I already forgot. No, wait. Let me.
Forgot.
Oh, okay, awesome. We both forgot.
I'm
Craig
gonna make fun
Albernaz.
of you for the way you say it, but yeah.
All right, cool. Is it Albernaz? Albernaz?
Yeah, so anyways, guys, the Baltimore Orioles hired a new manager. His name's Craig.
Hey, Craigie boy. Anyway, so yes, my team, the Baltimore Orioles, hired a new manager. Former Cleveland assistant was named the new manager, Craig Albernaz. And I actually texted Alex, gave me the rundown on this guy. And from what I can see, he's been associated with the great team, which has been Cleveland. He's done a lot of bullpen work. Everything he's been on has a pretty clean record from what I can see. So, and he's younger too. So I'll take the energy brought into the locker room. I think somebody like this who's been with a winning program, a winning team, can maybe bring some of that juice in. And I think Brennan Hyde brought that. But as we talked about, shoved out. Nothing we could do about it now. So looking to the future, the Nats, we're still waiting for some news about that. So whenever that comes in, we'll break that. But as far as the World Series, it's been a great series so far. I hope the Blue Jays win. I have a sneaky suspicion the Dodgers will pull it out. However, I put my trust in Vladdy that the Blue Jays will pull this one out for the North. So I don't know. Maybe Canada wins this one. I don't know. What do you got, Alex? I know you think the Dodgers are going to win, and that I think they could win too because of their pitching, but we'll see.
Hit freeze, man.
Miss
Yeah.
Goober.
I'm unpopular opinion. I don't want the Dodgers to win. I like watching good players get rings. Not to say
I just
I
don't-
love.
I don't like money, and I know it's selfish to
no,
say.
but you want to know? I want this to happen because then the CBA, we're gonna have the worst lockout after next year. By the way, I mean you have no idea. This lockout's gonna be terrible. We're not gonna get a full 2027 season. But I'm hoping that if the Dodgers just win, that this will be fuel to that lockout for players to ask. The salary cap, I think, will make players get paid less. But I'm hoping that if there is a salary cap implemented, there will be a salary floor. That's what I want. I think if the Dodgers win, there's going to have to be so much change. And players are going to be like, if you stupid owners want a salary cap, then we want a salary floor. You guys are getting by paying for nothing, literally nothing. Not putting money into your team, pocketing. Bob Nutting, I am talking to you. David Nottingham, that's for you, buddy. Okay? I'm just tired of watching owners that don't give a shit about their teams and are literally just pocketing the extra dough. I mean, and they're taking like the revenue sharing program. Like Bob Nutting is just pocketing the money the Dodgers are giving them. I mean, it's just stupid. So, I'd like the Dodgers to win. I think Snell gets it done in Game 5. I think the Dodgers should pitch Yamamoto in 7. Only because I want to see Yamamoto pitch in Game 7.
Alex right now.
But what I'll say is in Game 7, even if Yamamoto throws in 6, Yamamoto's available for 7. I guarantee it.
Yeah. And that would be good baseball.
Could you imagine the Dodgers going Snell in the first, Yamamoto in the second, Ohtani in the third, Kershaw in the fourth, Glasnow in the fifth?
Yeah.
And
that
then the
would
game
be,
ends after 5 innings because there's a lightning strike and it destroys Toronto.
Toronto just absolutely implodes. Okay, sweet. So we are at the end of our episode. We are going to touch on just a little game. I have something pulled up for Alex. We're going to do this real quick. I'm going to share my screen, Alex. Okay, cool. So, guys, we are going to, I'm sure everybody, if you haven't seen this, we will spin a random wheel. It will land an NFL team. We will pick a player from the all-time team. Okay, so QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, 2 defensive players. Okay, guys, I'm going to let Alex go first, okay? So I'm going to spin the wheel, and you're going to have to choose. Are you ready? All right, let's do it. Oh, did you hear that?
I did.
That was satisfying. Oh, San Fran.
Jerry Rice.
Okay, there you go. There's a lot of choices there.
I just
Okay,
got the
now
greatest wide receiver of all time.
should I eliminate the team? No, I'll leave him in there. Here we go. That's a horrendous team to get. I mean, I have one player you could pick, but it's not my team.
Oh, is this for me?
Hey, this is for you, man. We're completing
no,
your
it's
team.
not. We go back and forth.
You want to split?
No, we go back and forth. I'm being so serious.
Okay.
No,
guys. Okay, you want to go back and forth? I'll take
that's
Jaguars. Are you sure?
Yeah, I know who you're gonna take. I think.
Who do you think I was going to take?
I think you're gonna take Fred Taylor.
No, I was actually going to take Maurice Jones-Drew. All right.
Fred Taylor's better than Maurice Jones-Drew.
Well, yes, but okay. Well, we'll spin it. Okay, so we're gonna trade now.
So this is you.
This is me, bro. Okay, I actually thought about this ahead of time. So I could take Jim Brown here, but I think I'm actually gonna go Ozzie Newsome.
That's exactly who I was gonna take.
Yeah, Ozzie. It was a phenomenal tight end. Yeah, we'll go with that. I think he played in a tougher era. So, I don't think you get Oilers players to this unless you want to count it for Oilers.
No, I won't do that.
We can. I mean, it's all time. Okay.
This is horrible.
You could take. There's a really good quarterback, but is it the quarterback you want?
Is it Air McNair? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'd like to get a better quarterback.
But
Now you're gonna give me the time I want.
oh, for Tennessee,
What do you want me to do? Who would you take?
we'll
I
let
think
you go.
Tennessee's actually the worst team that you could get.
I think the Jaguars are worse.
Fred Taylor, Maurice Jones-Drew are both dogs.
You could go. I mean, they had the season where they played the Greatest Show on Turf with the Rams. So there's somebody good on that team besides Aaron McNair. Oh, whoa. I mean, you could take Eddie George.
I'm thinking about that's who I'm thinking about right now, but I don't think Eddie George. Like I can think of so many better running backs. That's me. Derrick Henry.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
mother of pearl!
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, to be
all
honest.
time for so long.
Yeah, I was stuck on Chris Johnson.
I was thinking about CJ2K too.
He was great, just a limited career.
He's no Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Okay, my turn.
Oh God.
Oh,
Legacy.
come on. Sweetness. Walter Payton. That's not even close. Second greatest running back of all time.
I thought you might go with the fridge.
Refrigerator Perry, man. Okay, here we go. I could have gone Mike Singletary there, but or Brian Urlacher. Great defensive players, but I'm gonna stick with this.
Falcons.
There's some good players there. Do not lean into your Virginia Tech right now.
Mike
I can see it in the front of your head, just pounding.
I'm contemplating Julio.
Julio would be clutch, but you also have Dion.
Oh, I'm taking Tony Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, smart pick. All right, here we go. Are you kidding me?
But you don't have a running back. Oh my gosh. Go and take Mark Brunell.
Okay, let me think.
I know who you should take. And you have the position available.
Brian Thomas. I'm not taking Brian Thomas. Okay.
Do you want a hand?
No. I'm just trying to think. Like, I'm trying to get out of this recency phase.
I think you want to stay recent here.
I mean, I could go a current player.
It's not a current player, but I think you want to stay recent.
Okay. Okay. Wait. I got to think back to like Blake Bortles era.
Perfect.
Where they had Leonard Fournette. They had.
Why was that team good, Brody?
I'll go Jalen Ramsey.
There you go. That's
so
what I was
yeah. I was gonna say Jalen Ramsey or AJ Boye, but I'm gonna take Jalen Ramsey here. Okay. No, there was somebody else. I mean, AJ Boye was great. Don't get me wrong. There's somebody else.
You could go like Foyesade Luakon.
No. Well, I'll stick. Jalen Ramsey was elite with the Jaguars.
Calais Campbell too.
Yeah, Calais Campbell's been great, but we're sticking with Jalen Ramsey.
Seahawks.
Ooh, that's you got good stuff there.
Okay, so I actually have a lot of choices here. Can't go running back, so beast mode's out of the question. Could go wide receiver. I could go I'm thinking about Steve Largent.
That's who I would have taken. But
he's really good.
He was a phenomenal and so underrated.
But there's also the Legion of Boom.
I mean, you also got Russell Wilson, who is amazing in Seattle. Hey man, you want to take Doug Baldwin.
Jermaine Kearse.
Yeah. Insanely good for one catch.
I know. Insanely good for at least two. He had the one in the NFC Championship, and then he had the one in the Super Bowl.
There you go.
Lap.
Clutch.
Ali. It's like if I do the Legion of Boom, who do I even take? Because you could make a case that Cam Chancellor was the best because he just laid the boom and he set the foundation.
Yeah.
I think Earl Thomas was the best. Like, actually,
Earl-
just player.
I think Earl
then
Thomas was the best safety, but I think Cam Chancellor was like the Legion of Boom.
Yeah, but then I think, like, Sherman was the best corner for, like, 4 years.
Yeah, but it was also, you know, it just blossomed out of nowhere. So it's a tough choice, but you can't go wrong with any three of them. Other than Earl Thomas derailed his career by going to the Ravens.
I'll take
And
Sherman. I mean,
and
I'm just gonna
eventually,
take Sherman. That's pretty good
do-
name value.
yeah, take Richard Sherman.
He's a Hall of Famer. I think
That's
all three of them
exact-
are Hall of Famers.
That is exactly the kind of pick that like Jalen Ramsey is, where it was just like elite for a few years. Now Jalen Ramsey's still playing, obviously, but
Yeah.
all right, both lockdown. God, what the?
And you can't
Are
take
you
Jim Brown.
serious? Are you serious? There's no O line either, so I can't take Joe Thomas.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, but I hate Myles Garrett. It's like my least favorite NFL player of all time.
You could go Josh Gordon.
No, but
How
yeah,
about
Josh
Terrell
Gordon,
Pryor.
Terrell Pryor for like 1 year when he went for 1K. I'll take Terrell Pryor at wide receiver and quarterback.
Bet you
I could take Joe Hayden here, but I guess Myles Garrett would
You'd
be a
rather
better
take
pick.
Joe Hayden over Myles Garrett.
Hey, Joe Hayden was a dog. Yeah, I'll take Myles Garrett. Oh, I hate Myles Garrett. My team just lost so much aura. All right. Here we go. It sucks. It's just a Browns roster. Oh,
Is that Casey?
yeah.
Mahomes.
All right, Collinsworth. Hey, who do you still have left?
I have one wide receiver and one defense.
You could also say there's a ton. Do you remember like Don Terry Poe and like Justin Houston?
Oh, yeah. Insanely. Yeah, Justin Houston was a dog off the edge. Their defense with Alex Smith was awesome. I mean, Jamal Charles for like 4 years. All right. Okay. Dang it, I could have had Barry Sanders. It's okay. I got Walter Payton.
What position
I'll
do you have?
take. I got 2 wide receivers and a quarterback, so I'll take Megatron. Thank you.
There you go. That's a really good pick.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Mhm.
Let's keep it rolling, man. We're stacking up some good teams here.
I got the star.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Are you look? You have defense left?
I've got defense and wide receiver.
Well, you could go obviously Michael Irvin.
I could go Irvin. I could go Dez. I could go CD. I could go
George Pickens.
shoot. I could go Drew Pearson.
Yeah, but if you have defense, you could. I'm not even gonna say it.
Prime time. But I could also go like Charles Haley.
Yeah.
Charles Haley was so good.
Yep.
He's like notorious for being an asshole, but he was so good.
Yep. There's a lot of people you could go here.
Ah!
Come on.
I think I gotta go Dion, man.
I don't know why you would consider something else. I mean, maybe Michael Irvin, but I would 100% go Dion.
I just think it's easier to get a defender. That's
Like if I get the Giants, I'm gonna be livid.
Yeah.
Falcons.
Okay. Quarterback and wide receiver, Falcons. Am I going
Julio.
Michael Vick here? Yeah, but I
Julio.
could go Julio. Okay. Yeah, but then I leave myself with a. There's got to be a quarterback somewhere left here. And Julio was. I mean, my wide receivers are Julio and Calvin Johnson. Good luck stopping that.
I hope you get the Bears.
Mitchell Trubisky. All right, here we go. We're down to a final pick here. Yes! Joe Hayden. Now, what do you have left? Quarterback or?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
I'll go Odell Beckham.
Okay.
That's not
He's
bad.
getting locked up all day.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Who's locking up OBJ?
Jalen Ramsey on my team. Kurt Warner. Yeah, that worked out well.
I think my team's still better.
By the way, I could have gone like Torrey Holt here if I had saved. I would. The only switch I
You
could
could
have
have gone Torrey Holt. You could have gone Isaac Bruce. You could have picked every position you needed from this team. You could have
Yeah.
gone Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but I had QB left. I'm excited about Kurt Warner. Okay, guys, final teams. We'll have the. I'll list these up here. Final teams. My team is Kurt Warner at quarterback.
Wait.
Walter Payton.
Let's go back
Okay.
and forth.
Okay, here we go. At quarterback, Alex.
Pat Mahomes.
I have Kurt Warner.
I think I win that one.
I mean, yeah, I it's hard to say. I mean, Kurt Warner led one of the greatest teams ever, but it was also one of the greatest teams ever. I'll give you Pat Mahomes just because of the accolades.
Okay, good. Derrick Henry.
Walter Payton, that's not close.
You got that. Yep.
Yeah. Although-
it's closer than you think.
It is closer than-
Walter Payton transcended the position, but Derrick Henry is the running back of this generation.
Oh yeah, for sure. But there's just not many people like Walter Payton. Wide receiver.
Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
I think
Calvin
wide receivers
Johnson.
are going to end up being a scratch. I'll
Yeah,
defer Julio. I'll say Julio's better than OBJ. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Tight ends.
Ozzie Newsome, Tony Gonzalez is better. Yeah. Defense, Jalen Ramsey.
Richard Sherman.
It's tough because Jalen Ramsey has had a better career than Richard Sherman, but I think Richard Sherman's prime was very insane. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I think that's a scratch, genuinely. Defense, Myles Garrett.
Deion Sanders.
I hate Myles Garrett, so I'll give you prime.
Yeah! I win!
Those are two good teams right there. And I had to suffer through 2 Browns, but we made it. All right, guys. Let's see here. How do I stop
Talk to me
sharing?
about suffering through 2 Browns. I had to suffer through a Titan and a Brown.
You know what? You could have gone Chris Johnson. He still would have been one of the
Yeah,
fastest players.
the thing is, you still have
Jim Brown. You could have gone Otto Graham.
Hey, if I had gotten the Titans, I would have 100% fought to get the Oilers because I had Warren Moon, Earl Campbell. That's good enough for me. All right, guys. What?
Brody.
Yeah.
Start talking.
All right, guys. So,
Hey, all right, guys. Yeah, that feels so good, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know anymore, but I was very discombobulated when you decided to leave your gulag and speak out of turn.
I'm still in the gulag, huh? Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in today. This has been a really fun episode. I hope you enjoyed our little game at the end there. Hopefully, you got a good team. Let us know what your team was. I doubt it'll be better than mine. It probably
We
won't
already
be
know
as-
mine's better than his, so
it won't be better than Alex's. So thank you guys for joining us. As always, tune into the Starting Two, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere that you can find us, Spotify, YouTube, a full-length podcast. Thanks for tuning in and showing love. We love doing this for you. So any words, Alex, to get us out of here?
I want to end this how we started it, and just want to say that I'm grateful for the state of Louisiana, and I'm grateful for the Starting Two podcast a little bit more in the state of Louisiana.
Would you be
And
grateful that you're fired?
No, I'm not. I'm really upset.
You're fired. Get out of here.
Oh, golly. I've been Alex Desai. This is my co-host Brody Minnick. Thank you for watching the Starting Two podcast. We will see you later.
Bye, guys.